it seems like every week there's something interesting going on with Ubisoft. We had the Star Wars Outlaws announcement that they barely sold 1 million copies. That launch failed essentially. Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed, and now there's talks of the company potentially firing a huge amount of the workforce and maybe even a potential buyout from Tencent and the Guillemot family. Right? I don't know what to believe anymore, but this is very interesting when you take all things in consideration of what's really going on with how bad this company is doing. Like it seems like they're at this point almost purposely doing it. Could there be some kind of inside conspiracy with Tencent? Maybe China wants to get a little bit more influence in Western gaming, so they have I don't this is just conspiracy time, but maybe they're purposely doing it. I saw an interesting video by Side Scrollers, and then earlier this last week, me and RGT85 were speculating about it. But now, you see all these rumors of Bloomberg saying that Tencent Holdings and the Guillemot family are considering options, including potentially buying out Ubisoft after it's lost more than half of its market value this year. If I was going to do an inside job and try to screw a company that I was an investor in, I would make that motherfucker go low. And we all know already the shares are at an all-time decade low, right? So this report from Bloomberg is saying that the Chinese tech company, Tencent, and the Guillemot Brothers Ltd. are speaking with advisors to help explore ways to stabilize the company. We've heard things like bankruptcy, but there was a call from other investors to go private or sell. I mean, they're literally saying, please go private or sell. It was AJ Holdings that made a report where they even accused Tencent and Guillemot of purposely driving the shares down. Like, it's crazy how much chaos there's going. But evidently, the people that were in this report that Bloomberg said don't want to be identified. I don't know. This is video games, but it's crazy to think how bad Ubisoft is doing right now as a company. One of the possibilities that's evidently being discussed, and I'm looking at an article on Park Place that was talking about it, is involving both of them teaming up to take the company private. So I think, honestly, that would probably be the best thing. Go private. Now, apparently, Ubisoft is aware of these, and there was a spokesperson who came out and said that they've noticed that there's this speculation going on and that they're reviewing all the strategic options in the interest of stakeholders, and they will inform the market if and when appropriate that there's going to be some kind of sale or some kind of changes as far as like who's in charge. And I don't know. When you look at Ubisoft, I think they've lost their way. I think they've become a shell themselves, and investors see it. Like I said, AJ Holdings previously called for the company to be sold and taken private when a minority shareholder is demanding it. And they threatened them. They said, take the company private for the fair price. We urge the board to consider taking them private. With Tencent as a significant partner and shareholder, Ubisoft as a public company is going basically under ongoing scrutiny at this point. And there's demands for them to have better quarterly reporting, right? And results to please investors. And AJ Holdings isn't happy with what's going on. And they're saying that it's going to harm strategy going forward, and it's harming Ubisoft at this time. And they need to think long-term to get new air into their exceptional franchises. I'm freestyling here a little bit while glancing over this article, so I'm all over the place. But this is a lot of stuff to take in. They even said if Guillemot and Tencent are not interested in Ubisoft value, we urge the current management not to block any takeover, as there are several public equity groups that would be interested based on their research, and that in the event of an offer from a public equity group or strategic investor, that they urge them, the Guillemots and Tencent, to accept this bid when this bid will be for fair price. And if not, if they don't sell it, if there's not an offer that's accepted, they're going to sue for reimbursement of damages. Wow. So they're not having it. A lot of people aren't having it. When you're starting to have companies like AJ Holdings not having it, and they're saying, hey, do it. Now, they made this call after they accused Guillemot family and Tencent of discounting the potential value of Ubisoft in order to buy more shares at a lower valuation and eventually take full control of the company at heavy discounted valuation. So I'm going to be honest, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea. And that's where it's going into the territory of conspiracy, where I'm saying they have to be doing it at this point. They have to be fucking doing this. If you think about it, it's an all-time decade low. It's close to 15 euros per share, which is the lowest point since 2015, giving them a valuation of less than 2 billion euro. Right? I have no clue. I have no clue what's going on, but it's not good. And if this is an inside job, think about it. It's almost borderline genius that a Chinese company would be like, hey, let's get into Western gaming. Let's get more influence. Maybe even Saudi Arabia. They're starting to get into the gaming industry as well. They got to tear down these American companies that have been established for years. They got to get them lower and cheaper so they can come in and swoop. And I mean, you think about how bad Ubisoft's been doing at this point in time. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe creating uncertainty amongst all the investors like AJ Holdings is beneficial for Tencent or even Guillemot or Saudi Arabia or whoever in order to acquire more shares at a lower price. It's borderline fucking genius if you think about it, right? So they're calling for Ubisoft to sell and take it private at a fair price. I don't know. I think, honestly, I don't want to see Ubisoft go the way of the dodo. But if they're being manipulated somehow behind the scenes from a company like Tencent, that's some shady stuff. And there's nothing out of the realms out of corporations, right? For people to be doing shady and scummy shit. And I was actually, again, like I said, talking this over with RGT, and I saw side scrollers even speculate on it. I didn't get to do too much research in it, but apparently the Ubisoft stock did rally upon the initial rumor for this and increased 36.14% in the last few days, but it's still down like 30% in the last 3 months and 40.5% since the beginning of this year and 52% down from last year. So it has an uphill battle to climb. If I was an investor that was looking into possibly swooping in and getting this for cheap, Tencent might be having a steal right here behind the scenes, and we don't even know. So Ubisoft's in trouble, guys, and there's speculation that they're doing it on purpose. At least Tencent and Guillemot family are doing it on purpose so they could buy Ubisoft and go private. What do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.